And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. It's been a little while. My name's Digital Dragon. I'm a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. Hope everyone's doing well this evening. Hey, Shrimp Father, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. You're doing well. We were down at the store today. I did get the first packages that arrived at the shop. It was a couple of actually 3 workbenches. So I took some time today between meetings and got those assembled and got them set up. So, yeah, lots been going on. The shop, we spent 2 days trying to strip the floors. And hey, Jedi Spidey, how's it going? Thank you for the resubscribe for 16 months in a row. Holy cow. That is crazy. How's it going, Spidey? So some updates because there wasn't a video today. I meant to take a video and didn't. We got in 3 workbenches today, but last night we had a conversation with a contractor, and we're going to go ahead and have the floors done. After he saw the floors, he was like, "Hey, stop trying to strip the floors because we're running through paint stripper like crazy. We're getting up the paint, but I think they use some DAP, some epoxy putty, like anything they could think of to fill the holes in the concrete or the divots in the concrete. They were trying, and there are sections of the floor that had tiling on it, which has got some type of mastic material that the stripper's just not even touching, right? So, hey, Matt Owl, how's it going? Welcome in. So the guy looked at it and said, hey, save yourself the pain. And by pain, yes, there was pain. I've been taking muscle relaxers the last 2 days because the hip's killing me from being bent over the last few evenings trying to scrape up the put down paint stripper, wait, scrape it up, and do all that. Me and Evil Diesel. But hey, Eagle the Dragon, welcome, welcome. Long story short, he said, don't worry about it. I've got a 30-inch diamond grinder. We're going to have to use that anyhow because we have to get down to the bare concrete to open up the pores of the concrete so the epoxy has something to grab hold of. And we're like, okay, great. And in talking to him today, he was saying possibly starting Saturday. Then this evening, he asked if he could potentially start tomorrow. And I'm like, sure, why not? I've got some deliveries that may or may not show up. A couple of other meetings to do tomorrow with some vendors. But yeah, they need to get in there. I'll let them in and we'll get the floors done. And as soon as we get the floors done, we can start making some headway. I do have shipping notifications from the printers and notification of the parts and accessories that I bought with the printers that are coming in. We got filament we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and a couple of other vendors that we've reached out to that we're trying to get brought in as well. So that's kind of where we're at on getting the shop/store space set up. I'm just all kinds of excited about doing that. It will be a little while before we get the streaming setup pulled from here over there because we need to get certain things done first before we start streaming out of there. But yeah, we're just taking it one day at a time and getting things done. So with that, I will say that we're going to go over and work on the Deposition Sound speaker today. Let me switch over here to the bench side. And voila. This is not two separate parts. This is all one part. I know when we did this last, I said I was going to glue the top so that we can then glue the top and bottom together. By the way, this is the bottom up here, this is top down here. And I went ahead and glued it all together. As soon as I realized I wasn't going to stream Tuesday, I wanted to make sure that at least this part was done. This is where the amp is going to go. And then our subwoofer comes down at this end, and it's got the ports that are going to be facing downward. So the sound's going to come up and come back down and around. But we're going to need to put in some M3 inserts around here. We'll let the insert tool cool back off while we're installing the amp and all of our polyfill and stuff. And then we'll add M5s up at the top, and we'll get our speaker connected and the speaker inserted. That's kind of where we're going to be at today. Let me flip over here. The browser window is probably not going to come up right, because it never does. Let me get that fixed. There we go. That's what we're working on. And I am going to sit down because, once again, every time I stand up for more than a couple of minutes, my left hip just really starts hurting. But we're going to have to put in our, like 9 heat set inserts into this side. We've already got our glue ups done. And we're here on step 4, where we're going to install the M3 heat set inserts. And we have M3 and M5, so we need to make sure, like I said, we're going to do the M3 first, let our tool cool down so it can swap over to the other size while we're putting in the amp and the polyfill. Yeah, this is 4 kilos of material. It was like 900 for the 2 bottoms and a little over 1 kilo for each of the top sections, because it's got that double tube in it. So yeah, we're going to set this down on its side, and we're going to have to freehand this, because while I have my flex arm up here, it's not mounted to the bench to be able to come over and do the flex arm. But I did put together a new workbench that I'm going to use for the streaming rig, and I have plenty of room on the side of that to mount the flex. Can't remember the name of that, but the flex arm version of a heat press. So these are the longer versions of heat press inserts. Let's see if I can't balance myself and stay off of that hip. And these are going to be a little bit fun to get in. And they need to be pressed in just a little under the face. So we need to sink them in just a little bit. Don't push them all the way through, just a little bit. And I'm going to do my best to keep these straight up and down as I press them in. And not here. Let's not hold those in my hand. So Spidey, how goes your shop? So the two middle ones right here and the two vertical ones, actually all four of the middle ones actually go across the seam. So by putting those heat sets in, we're basically hot gluing the seams together. Okay. Rotate this around to get the other side. Slow and steady, or goes in spurts? Yeah. I would assume that with Christmas shopping starting up, you might be able to get a few more sales here and there on the weekend. I think we're gonna probably miss the Christmas season, but we'll get people going into the new year, so we'll be able to get the supplies to people, the consumables that they're going to need, as well as have some printers going into the new year for people. Okay. I'll unplug that so it can start cooling down. And our speakers at this end, so when we put our plate in, we want the words to be readable top to bottom. Okay. Hey Matt Al, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Get that spare over there, that over there out of the way. It wants us to install the M5. We're going to do that a little bit later because I need to let my heat press cool down. Polyfill time. We need to stuff all four corners with the polyfill. Remember, we've got 4 different bags of polyfill. So yeah. Get that out. And it's kind of weird. We want to stuff it in there and stuff it all around the corners. in each quadrant, but we also need to make sure that it's not, that it's fluffy. So we might want to open this up a little bit more and try and just pull it out, let it get a little bit airy. And I'm going to go up into this area first. Kind of see where I'm going, what I've got. Okay. Tube. All right, so there's a lower area. Front area that goes around the tube. And what I'm trying to do is just push it around the tube. So the tube kind of starts here, loops around and comes down, and then the other one starts here and loops around and comes down. So we need to get polyfill up and around the tube openings, but not necessarily right in the tube. All right. By the way, nice bags. Keep the nice bags. Okay. Same thing over here. Try not to put it around the hot item over there. So the upper chamber over here is where this one's at. We'll get that put in there and then some down at the bottom. And fill in that area. That's kind of what we got. We'll get some more down here in the bottom area next. 2 more packages and yeah, that'll work. You want to kind of take this stuff and fluff it out some, and then that'll let you get in there and put it around those tubes. No, it's I'm still at the house. We won't be streaming from the office for a little bit longer because we're doing work on the new digs. We should be having the floors done this weekend. He talked about possibly starting tomorrow, and if he can, that will be awesome because that means by Sunday, Monday at the latest, we'll have the floors done. And that'll be nice to have. The we're going to have the floors epoxy coated in a like a medium gray satin finish. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at right there. The amplifier is going to go in. Let me grab that out of the box over here. I'm really sore right now. My left hip has been killing me, but that's because we spent the last 2 days manually stripping the floor. So applying paint stripper and then removing the paint after the stripper did its job. And yeah, not a bad thing if it's a small space. Not a good thing when it's a, what is it, 37 by 42 room. It, yeah, it's not all that easy. Okay, so we've got the, pull some of that up. There's some of that back in there. Polyfill is like getting everywhere. So we've got the plate amp here, and we've got this cable. This cable needs to be unwound. This is the cable that's going to connect to the speaker itself. And this is going to have to be run down through this channel. So let me get that started through one side or the other. Doesn't matter. This needs to come down through there. You can see that they've already got the sealant on here, the tape or the foam tape. That's a very nice thing that they provided. And this just sits down on there. And we're going to use the M3 fasteners to fasten this down. Now let's see, are these nice? They are. Hex key versus Phillips. I was afraid they were going to be Phillips head. I'm going to get these close just to make sure that everything's lining up. So you're looking sideways, and I had just gotten this shelving with the bin system not too long ago, and it's been really helpful to kind of lay out, okay, here are my MCUs, here are my tool head boards, here are my power supplies, etc. So that way I'll be able to grab those bins, just take the bins, throw them in the back of the truck, take the shelf, put it in the bed of the truck, and go down to the shop and get everything back in the back room. But I've been working out of the shop daily. We got our first delivery at the shop today. It was 3 workbenches. There's still 1 workbench somewhere out there. And then there's a bunch of shelving units that'll be coming in that we'll use to stock filament and stuff like that, and section off some spaces, put some displays up, that type of thing. And then we'll do, all right, I need to sit down. And then we'll do a streaming area. We'll have a little maintenance area. We'll have all the printers set up. Not all of them, but some of the printers set up. but I'm getting excited because things are coming in now. I did get confirmation of shipment for the printers that I ordered. So those will be coming in early next week. And I'm working with a few vendors, trying to get some other products in for the shop. So I'm going down tomorrow to talk with EPAX 3D. They're a local filament company here in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. I have reached out to Bamboo Lab and I am waiting for them to respond back to me. The plan will be to stock probably some of their printers as well as the filaments. I have also, so what I've got in place right now, I am a reseller for FlashForge now. So the FlashForge are going to be my first printers coming in. We'll have the 85M Pro and the 85X, which is their multicolor unit. We've got lots of parts coming in for those as well. I am a reseller for Fadis, and I need to get an order set up and sent off to them. So I will be selling Fadis as well. And then, okay. Yes. Then we're going to be working on Bamboo. Still waiting for them to respond back. And Kadivy. And then I need to also reach out to Big Tree Tech. Ads always at a good part. Need to get turbo. Yeah. Okay, we've got our plate amplifier in. We need to jump back that step and put in the M5 threaded heat sets now that the tool's cooled off, so that we can do this without burning the Jesus out of ourselves. That's it, I think. 3, 4, I think. And of course, now I fully remember. I gotta swap out the actual pins. But yeah, I am going to have EPAX filaments to start with. Bamboo, I've already had some people ask if I will be stocking the Bamboo refill spools. The answer will be yes, as soon as Bamboo gets back to me and if they allow me to. There is another Bamboo reseller near me. I just don't know if they have any type of exclusion zone around them or not. Okay, what I'm going to do is kind of push this polyfill down when I go to do the heat sets in the specific areas, so we don't heat up and melt that polyfill. Sure, there'll be all kinds of nasty fumes from that. And once again, these will get recessed ever so slightly. Once again, I'm just going to push that polyfill down as I put the heat set in, then I'll let it come back up. We also need to do the 4 feet here, so we also do that. Hey, Da Vinci, how's it going? Yeah, my desire is to have various folks. Like, I really want to get Big Tree Tech in there as well. It's just going to be one of those things where it's going to take a little bit of time to get everything there, because I am bootstrapping this. I'm not angel funded or anything like that. So, you know, you kind of got to get some things in, get some income coming in, and then expand out your lineup. I don't want to be a small business that goes under in the first year. You own a store, it's hard to understand how much that costs. Yeah. Just sitting here and, you know, the need to get the epoxy floors in, right? And I'm like, oh, how much is that going to be? And then you realize it, and you're like, oof, because that's a sunk cost. There's nothing coming back out of that. At least when I order printers, you know I'm getting something back because I'm going to be able to sell the printers, right? And everything else. But it is a sunk cost until those items are sold. So my plan is to not quit the day job just yet. Mrs. Dragon said at least a year of doing both until the shop takes off. And you know that saying, happy wife, happy life. So I really want this store to be my exit strategy from corporate America. That is my goal. That is my plan. Okay. 4 corners and the speakers, and we're going to have to let that sit there and cool for a bit. So we can sit here and chat a little bit while that cools before we put in the speaker. Oy. Hey, bear with me 1 second. I need to Okay. Need to look at the message real fast because it was from the contractor who's going to be doing the floors. So. Yeah, it would have been 10,000 if I did everything to include the 2 back rooms, and actually about like 10.5, and I was like, yeah, no, the back rooms are fine. They're back shop. They're not up in what I'll say the retail space. So let's just do the retail space and the office. Because the floor in the office was horrendous. But once again, this was a printing company that had been there for several decades. Like the building is 1948. And they've been there quite a number of decades. And you could see where they had like bolted equipment directly into the concrete for their printing presses and stuff. So kind of neat, but also kind of like, wow. How are we doing? All right, I think we'll be good. So once again, we've got our wire there. Let me see if I can't, let me do a overhead here. There we go. So we've got our wire here and we've got our bolt pattern. Yeah, next up is to install the woofer with the barrel connections on the woofer fully depressed. Feed the bare twisted strands wire through the revealed hole and release the spring. I think we've got a different speaker setup than that now. It should just be push fits based on what I'm seeing. Okay. And I would be wrong. So these are a push fit type. So you push this in, put your bare wire through, and then let it go, which means we're going to have to cut the ends off the amp and reattach them with just the bare wire. Is fine. Oh. Please tell me I've got another set of wire strippers here and that I don't have them down at the shop. Okay. These should work. I had taken my wire strippers down to the shop, so we'll be able to use these. Like I said, we're going to cut the ends, the spade connectors off here, and then we'll strip it back and we'll go bare wire into the speakers. Because once again, might be easier if I flip it over. You've got these connectors here, and when you push it in, it opens up the hole, and then you'll let it go, and it'll bite down hard on the connector. I'm going to strip off a decent amount, probably about, I don't know, 1/4 inch or more. Hey, Projects in Dad's Garage, how's it going? We're muddling through tonight. I spent the last 2 nights trying to strip paint off of a concrete floor, and the flooring guy came and was like, "You're killing yourself, just stop. We're gonna have to diamond grind it anyhow," and I've got a 30-inch, like 1,200-pound diamond grinder that's gonna cut through that in the blink of an eye. We're like, done, agreed, you know? So we're, that should start tomorrow, I believe. Now, how do we do this and not damage the speaker cone in the process? Okay, so there we are. We've got both of those in. They're in good. We're just going to set this down in there and try and line up our holes as best we can. That looks good. And we've got a bunch of M5 hardware here, so let's get started with the M5s. How's it going, Maker Viking? Hope you're doing well. Said my hip's killing me, so if I kind of set it up on the stool behind me, it kind of helps relieve some of the pressure on it. I think it's a bit of old fartitis. So I'm not tightening that all the way down yet. I'm just getting it close, and then I'm going to start doing opposite corners, because that's going to help me get these lined up initially. You know how it goes. Crossing pattern, split the difference. I'm doing good. Like I said, we've been doing a lot of cleaning and spent a lot of the night, the last couple of nights, stripping paint off the floor. And like I said, we were sitting there when the contractor was like, "Yeah, stop doing what you're doing, and we'll get in here with the grinder anyhow." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds good to me." But we got in 3 benches today, got those put together. One's going to be like the maintenance bench and have like a like a pegboard up behind it and stuff. And then one is a 70-inch long, a little over, I think it's a 24 by 70. That will be the new streaming table. And then we'll have a couple of 4-foot, 24-inch by 4-foot that we'll use as roll-around tables for various things. All right, so this is down. Now we're going to go straight across. We'll take this one all the way down. And then we'll have shelving and stuff like that coming in for displaying the filaments. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy more of the Craftsman benches like I have my printers on behind me, or just take some of these out. Because the plan is going to have all of the Centauri Carbons and the X1Cs down there as, you know, our print farm machines, right? And then we'll have display shelves for the Flash Forge. And if we get bamboo, I'm sure bamboo is going to be like, you can't have just filament. You're going to have to do printers as well to meet our sales goals. So I'll have to get printers as well. There you go. A 3-stream streak. That's awesome. Projects in Dad's Garage. And after looking at my calendar projects, I can join you guys remotely, but I won't be able to be there in person. Because, like I said, I still got that day job thing that I can't quit just yet. Okay, so speakers in. We connected the positive, negative. Speaker is in. And then we need to install the feet. So the feet are here, and we've got these little recesses that these will line up in, and we'll put a screw straight down there and screw it in. And because these are speakers, they're going to be vibrating. This is PET G. I think we'd have an issue if we did any Loctite on these. So I'm definitely going to have to just give it a good crank on them. Yeah, day jobs are the worst. Speaking of which, you have your procedure tomorrow, right? You have it on Friday? So good luck. Like I said, like I've said in the past, especially with my own surgeries, is you've got the easiest job. All you have to do is show up, go to sleep, and then wake up, you know, later on. The doctor's the one that has to do all the hard work. You just get to go to sleep, eat Jell-O, flirt with the nurses. Okay. So these are M5s, so you can give it a decent crank, but don't strip the heat set out. Now, granted, these were the extra long, deep ones, so there's your M5 insert. It's pretty deep. The M3s were deep as well, as far as they're the longer inserts. There is a spike version, which is recommended for carpets. This is going to be on my concrete floor at the shop. So we do have the little rubber feet that we're going to stick on here. They needed to start you on volume like 2 weeks ago. Either way, I can stop being nervous. Exactly. I will tell you this: when I had my neck surgery, because once again I had C5, C6, C5, C6 replaced C6, C7 fused together. I was on like 3 Percocet a day for almost a month before I was able to get in for my surgery. Like I would drive into work, take a Percocet. At lunchtime, I would go eat lunch and take a Percocet. At around 5:30, 6 o'clock, I would drive home from work and immediately take a Percocet. It was bad. Okay, so here is our sub in all its glory. Let me switch over to the side here. Get a couple of things out of the way real fast. Sorry, bear with me. Pop this one out, the other one back in. Helps if you remove the right screw, by the way. One would be a set screw, the other is just one that holds the piece together. Okay, that goes there with that. This will go back over here where I will forget to tighten that up until the first time I go to use it and I push it all the way out of the housing. But here is our completed FDMS8 subwoofer. Once again, this is pretty darn tall. I mean, this is, do I have a measuring? I think I have a measuring device over here. For us imperialists, we are 20 inches from the base to the top of the cabinet. So yeah, this is a pretty decent sized speaker. This is a 100 watt Class D plate subwoofer. We'll have volume, frequency, which means we'll be able to cut off what frequency gets sent to this sub. We're going to leave it down there at 40 hertz and just let it run the big bass. We have the ability to switch the phase 180 degrees. Bass boost on, or we can leave it off, auto, or on. We have our inputs and the power cord, which will let us turn this on. They tell me I will be on nerve blockers and heavy narcotics till nerve blockers and heavy narcotics. Wow. You're doing C4 to C6 tomorrow, but it's only the first of at least 4 fusions. Ouch. Yeah, this is pretty big. Like I said, this is an 8-inch subwoofer, so we're 20 inches tall. Let me see if I can guesstimate. 20 inches tall, 20 inches wide, and about 9 inches deep. Which makes sense since we have an 8-inch diameter subwoofer. And I know you all are saying like, hey, can you plug this in and let's hear it? Unfortunately, I can't, because the other 2 speakers and the Oh, the preamp and stuff that drives the other two speakers are down at the shop. So we will have to run this. We could probably do this Tuesday down at the shop, or I will get it playing something and do a little short. Oh my God, they have to fuse 11 different vertebrae together? Did you break like every part of your back? Like, wow, that's crazy. You can hear your speakers, you do not have enough of them. You should only feel the speakers. Yes, that is true. That is true. But yeah, I'll have to do a little show and tell type video down at the shop soon here. Got an ad that just started, so spinal degeneration to the extreme. Yeah. So they told me when I had my fusion at C6, C7, that the fusion itself will cause degradation between C7 and T1. The upper one has the dual plates with the swivel joint in them. So that one shouldn't degenerate anymore, but it could go even higher above those. But that's why Canadians say A. Never guessed that. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. Working down at the shop, trying to get things squared away, making deals, getting. We're starting to get stuff delivered right now. It's fixtures and stuff from Amazon. Like I said, we've got the guy coming in potentially tomorrow to start doing the floors. And I think the plan is to diamond grind and then acetone wash and get the first layer of epoxy down. And then they let that cure for 24 hours and then come back and do the satin finish over the top, which will have aluminum oxide mixed in, which will also give it a little bit of a texture for anti-slip and stuff like that. So I'm kind of really excited. I'm excited about this too. I can't wait to hear this. Like I said, I'm going to have to set this up down at the shop and get it playing. But if they're going to be down there in the next day or two working on the floors, then I'm not going to, I'll take this down there once the floors are done, which is they're either going to be working tomorrow and possibly Saturday and be done, or Saturday and Sunday or Monday and be done. But regardless, I'm hoping that by Monday, we'll have all the floors done. We're still going to need to paint some walls. The walls, like, I've got a video that I haven't posted, and I'm probably still going to post it, of Mrs. Dragon literally mopping the walls with like one of the, think like a Swiffer wet mop. It's a different brand. I think it's Lieberman or whatever. But she was basically wet mopping the walls because they were just nasty. We're gonna have to do some putty fill because they had stuff hung all over the walls. So we're gonna have to fill in some spots, and then go back in and paint. So that's gonna be fun. Hey, Free Heathen, how's it going? What's up? Will you be participating in a local meetup and community sale this weekend? Okay, I will be there Saturday. So if you're in the local community, The maker meetup was originally scheduled for the 13th. I will be out of town that weekend. So this Saturday is the last maker meetup for the year down at Ecovate 3D. I do not know how much longer that I will be hosting them down at Ecovate before I get the get the store up and start inviting everybody down to my store. So you had to wash the smoke off the wall. Yeah, that's another thing that happens. I actually, what was it? I worked on a printer for Westery 3D, and when it got to me, we opened it up and immediately took it out to the garage and just sprayed it down with Febreze and let it sit out in the garage for almost a week before we went back and touched it. It was just, let's just say nasty. Somebody was a smoker. The Optimus P1 down at Ecovate, it had sat in a garage for 4 years, and we thought that there was rust on the linear rails. I told Waters, like, hey, go get me some IPA. And he got me IPA, and it wiped off with IPA, which means it's not rust. IPA will not remove rust, which means it was some type of tar and smoke, whether it was, cigarette, cigar, a little bit of wacky weed, who knows? Don't care, but we had to go and clean that stuff up. So yes, I will be there Saturday. I will probably not be there on Sunday, Jedi Spidey, but I will be there Saturday for the maker meetup, and Sunday I most likely will not be back there because I'll need to be at my shop unless they're saying don't be on the floor, right? If they tell me not to be on the floor and let it have cure time, then I would probably be down there on Sunday as well. Yeah, so Free Heathen. You see this thing right here, right? The speakers together. So this is the 100-watt plate amplifier, and the speaker is facing downward. Okay, hey Big Jano. So this is it's nice. There's bass reflex tubes here, which gives good handles. But there's our 8-inch subwoofer. This is about 20 inches wide and 20 inches tall and 9 inches deep. And yes, I know I'm using inches instead of centimeters because I don't have I'm not going to climb underneath the desk to grab the meter stick. Yes, the bass will go boom. So how's it going, Big Jano? Yes, this is going to be massive. This goes with the FDM Geos that we did, which had a 5-inch mid-range woofer and a 3/4-inch tweeter. I've got those down at the shop, and I've been playing music as we were working on stripping the floors. And like I said, we had a contractor come out yesterday and tell us, like, one, commend you for stripping these floors by hand for this amount that you did, because we kind of went around the entire perimeter. And yeah, there's places where there was tile, and you can tell because it's the actual, you can see all the squares where they left the mastic in place and painted over the old mastic. And then the rest of the floor space at one point had carpet because you could see the swirl lines from where they laid the glue for the carpet. And what they did is at the doors, they just cut the carpet where the hallway is. They just cut the carpet right at the door line and painted the floor. And we found, with the way it came out, most likely it was either I think we had concrete filler, straight up like sheetrock putty, right? As well as epoxy filler all over the floor. And there was a couple of places where we would put down the paint stripper, we'd scrape it off with a 6-inch putty knife. You know, I'm doing sections about like this wide strips around the whole perimeter. We let the stripper sit on there for 15 minutes, scrape it off with a 6-inch putty knife, come back with a long handled scraper to get the stuff that was really bad, and then take a wire wheel to it. And that's where we found that some of those divoted holes actually had bolts in them that they just cut beneath the top lip of the concrete and filled it in. So yeah, we're tapping out. I've officially tapped out. My hip has been killing me, and you know, from up down, walking across the concrete all day, and yeah. So we're tapping out. We're gonna let the guys come in with the big toys, the 30-inch like heavy-duty diamond grinder. And they're going to grind down through all of that glue and mastic and get down to bare concrete, repair anything in the concrete that they need to, and then epoxy coat it, let that cure for about 24 hours, and then come back in and do the satin clear coat on top. And that takes about another 24 hours to fully cure. And then we'll be able to start walking on it and doing other things. And so we got some workbenches in today. I've built those, and we have them literally sitting in the vault because I have a vault in the store. And as more stuff comes in, it's just going to get staged in the vault until the main retail space and the offices floors are good. And then we'll be able to pull them out because the vault door is like 30 inches wide. So I've got the right size stuff that I can build it, get rid of all the garbage, and still be able to roll it in and out for now. So yeah. But that's kind of where we're at. Once again, we're doing Flash Forge. We're going to carry a lot of Fadus, hot ends, nozzles, the extruders, so forth. Probably some of their plates, their Arcfly Conweb plates. They do have filament. I'm looking at their filament to see, because the majority of their filament is what I'll say engineering grade. So, ABS, ASA, nylon, glass filled, carbon fiber filled. They don't really get into the PLA PETG stuff that I was seeing. They do have some TPUs, but I think I've got most of that covered. I talked to EPAX 3D tomorrow, and they're going to be my main filament in the store. And then we're also going to be looking at some Bamboo Lab stuff because, let's face it, a lot of the print farms in this area are running Bamboo printers, and they like the Bamboo refills. I've already been asked by one of them that is actually in my town that once I told them, like, hey, I know you're in town, I'm going to be opening up a store. One of the first things they asked was, will you have Bamboo refills? So between that and, I don't know, a certain web psychic web slinger. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I may also have 2 P1S printers up for sale that I would take on Sunday, but again, probably won't make it. Ooh. Reach out to me and let me know what you want for them, Jedi Spidey. Bad. I'm already buying an 85X off somebody. Not really buyer's remorse. They got it about a month ago, and they just decided it's, you know, they've got bamboos, and this is their first non-bamboo, and they were just like, it's different, is what it is. And so they're looking to sell the 85X and go grab another bamboo. And so I'm going to take the 85X because, wow, that keeps me from opening up one of my stock and using it as a display. So, yeah. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's kind of the latest status update. I can tell you that Mrs. Dragon and Evil Diesel are both kind of just excited. We're all a little sore, right? Because as me and Evil Diesel were working on the floor, Mrs. Dragon's been running around just cleaning everything. So, am I going to do local manufacturing for people? Yes. That is, like, one of the things that we're going to be doing is, I'll say, kind of looking around at the local shops, and maybe I'll print a plate of keychains, or the bar that's 4 doors down from me may get some sample TPU based coasters, and I will just walk them by and say, like, hey, do you like these? You know, kind of a sample thing. Drop off a few samples, let, you know, with my card, let them know. And yeah, that'll be a way of getting some business in the local area, doing some customized pieces for the stores, you know, promo keychains, stuff like that. And then also we're going to be looking at doing prototype validation for people in the local area. Have you looked at desktop CNC? This new machine has piqued my interest. Business cards, like, I will give them my business cards. I don't think I'm going to 3D print business cards. And the reason being is 6 doors down from me is a 2D printing place that does business cards, banners. In fact, I'm talking to them about getting a door sign done. Apparently, I need to get approval by my landlord and the city permitting for doing door signs. Right now, I have my banner hanging up in the window. Nobody's come and yelled at me, but I have had some people kind of looking at me like, something going in there? Hey, Jack in the... Jack in the Shop Laser. Very nice name. That's really cool. Laser engrave your metal cards. Now, that is a possibility because I do have an X-Tools D1, and I know you can laser engrave like black, blue, and different cards, and I do have some of those. So that's going to be an option. So LED signs / decor for the store. Yes, I know where you find it. Exactly, Big Jano. So I will tell you this. The city of Sanford and the downtown business district, of which I am right at the edge of, does not like electronic signage, like light up signs, one thing, right? But like the LED scrolling signs, yeah. negative. But yeah, having some light up stuff. I'm also talking with Daniel, aka Neokoi Prince, because he reached out to me a couple streams ago and said he would help do up a Hue Forge or a Huge Forge design for me that I can print and get hung up. So thank you for Neokoi for reaching out about that. I just need to get him the information to get that going. Is there going to be a theme to the shop? I don't know. I am known as Digital Dragon 3D. That is the name of the shop. So it's probably going to have dragon stuff around it. We've got Evil Diesel doing tabletop gaming miniatures and stuff like that. Terrain miniatures, we'll have a whole section for that. We're gonna have various cosplay pieces, like you've seen my Power Claw and the Power Fist. Those are going to be there on display. The Doom Shield is going to go down there and hang up on the wall, things like that, so we can show that we can do cosplay and some bigger prints. You know, as you know, my printers, other than the X1Cs and the Centauri Carbons, have standard namings to them now. But we have like Bay Dragon and Iron Dragon. Parthenox is the Rat Rig. The black box is named Tiamat, right? People that are coming into the shop, when they see those, will know because we're a block away from the gaming store. And I go down there every Friday. In fact, this Friday, I'm going to be bringing cards to them so that they can start sending people down to us once we get opened up. In fact, no, let me belay that. I need to get cards, new cards made that include the address on it. Do we need to collab on a huge print? Yes. Yes, we do, Jedi Spidey. Speaking of huge prints, does anybody follow the Imperial Saint on Instagram? Does anybody follow the Imperial Saint on Instagram? If you do not, go look her up. Her name's Doris, and she has done a 7-foot-tall Space Marine that is life-size Space Marine. She has done a Sister of Battle figure, life-size. She has done a Sister of Battle cosplay armor. She's doing a Repentia cosplay armor. And she is doing a Horus. And the waist of Horus, from the waist to the feet, is 8 feet tall. So she's got to still do the entire upper torso. And this thing's going to be massive. I'm like, I thought Master Chief was big. And then seeing that, I was like, holy crap. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to sit down again. Jack in the Shop was taken on Twitch, so you ended up with Jack in the Shop Laser. Okay, there you go. So yeah, so the X-Tool D1 is going to go down to the shop and be used in the back shop area. The resin printers are going to be in the back shop area. I am looking at the local area and the online sales to see. I really want to carry some Haygear stuff. I looked at the Haygear's booth out at Formnext, and their equipment is amazing. Their resins are really good. So at the very least, we're going to buy some of it for some of the resin work that Evil Diesel is going to be doing, but we would really, 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 really like to carry them as a line. I just don't, I need to gauge the resin interest in the area. But we'll have the resin printers in a back room that's separated off, and the rest of that one back room area, I will have the 2 mills set up along with the laser in that area, so that we'll have various options to do things. Because once again, I'm going to be doing parts for printers, kits for printers eventually. Like I said, I need to get a revenue stream going to start getting everything in that I want to get in, just because I'm bootstrapping. I'm self-funding this venture. So once we start getting some, revenue stream coming in, then we'll be able to expand some stuff out. And I want to start being able to mill some of my own parts to do either custom printers or custom printer builds. And also that'll give me the ability to do some small milling projects for other people in the area. Yeah, 40K is really cool. Master Chief is a mini fig compared to, oh yes it is, yes it is. BattleBots, yes, there are some BattleBot people. There's a lot of schools in the area that are doing BattleBots or robotics that we can work with. I definitely want to reach out and help Sandhills potentially, because Sandhills is doing stuff with one of the local Montessori schools that has a 3D print lab. And I want to see what I can do to help them out. Yeah. We're going to also look into doing some service and support, such as, hey, you have a print farm. Print farms make money when they're producing. So rather than wait for things to break, how about we set you up with a preventive maintenance program where we come in on a routine basis and go through and do the maintenance stuff, clean and lubricate your rails, your lead screws, check your belts, retension the belts if they need to be retention, stuff like that. These are pretty good at telling you when maintenance needs to be done and what those things are. Yeah, doing it on a routine basis, is going to be good. Things like changing filters. Yeah, service plans make money. That's the one big thing too, is service plans make money because you're charging for a person's time and anything that you need to put on the printer. So, oh, we're going to change out your filters. We're going to do lube, this, that, and everything else. You charge for the wear and tear items that you're replacing, right? But service is the easiest way to make money. You don't necessarily have to stock all the parts to do routine maintenance on machines, right? Nozzle clogs, one of those big things. Getting a nozzle clog fixed is a very routine thing. You're going out to the site and you're working on things and you say, hey, you've got a printer down, or do you need spare filters? Do you need spare nozzles while we're out there, right? It's an easy add-on to a service call. So let me snooze that ad. But yeah, that's some of the stuff. Hey, 3D Medic Vince, how are you doing? You've missed part of the big part of the evening, which was we finished up our speaker, coffee cup for size. The speaker enclosure is 20 inches tall and about 20 inches wide and 9 inches deep. This is a bandpass subwoofer enclosure by Deposition Sound. It is the FDMS8 8-inch subwoofer enclosure. It's about a little over, I think it's 4.4 kilos of total material. The top parts are, no, let me phrase that. The bottom parts, each of the bottom quadrants is about 900 grams of filament, and the two top parts, because of the tubes and stuff that are in them, are 1.1 kilos. So about 4 kilos of material for the top, and then a little bit for the accent feet. Hey Zombie, how's it going? Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we're extremely excited. You know, we haven't even officially opened yet, and I feel like I'm bleeding money. Yeah, like having teenagers all over again. You know, teenagers at the start of school season. It's yeah. But yeah, we've got shipping confirmation on our first batch of printers coming in. I got shipping notification for the parts. The printers are being shipped from the States, where all the spare parts and accessories that I ordered are coming from overseas, so they'll take a little bit longer to get in. We go down and talk to EPAX tomorrow about filament and getting initial filament in. I am going to carry EPAX as my main line. So I already have a polymaker. So Ecovate sells polymaker, and I see the polymaker stock, and there is no way that at my current position, bootstrapping, that I could carry the polymaker lineup. It's just way too much. Yeah, it's too much, or too many colors and too many things in a lineup. Like, I may go in and try and reach out and carry engineering grade materials if I need to, but I don't have the funds to do the whole polymaker lineup, you know? It's just crazy. And they just announced like a whole new set of colors too, didn't they? So yeah. But we've got FlashForge. So we've got printers and parts and accessories coming from FlashForge. I need to do a Fadis order, so I'm going to carry Fadis. Specifically, I'm going to do the Conch Plus hot ends for all the bamboos and the Jabberwockies and ant heads and stuff like that out there. We will carry some Rapido 2s. I'm going to carry the Fadis hot end upgrades for the Flash Forges and probably the Kittytex. And then I also plan on reaching out to Luke's Lab and talking to them. I don't like tubes. I don't know. I think like Fadis gets you some additional overhead on flow rates at a very, very competitive price. And then the tube lineup and the Pika lineup are going to be way up here. Yes, you're going to get a higher flow rate, but just the outlay, I need to gauge the interest, and maybe I'll start off doing some group buys and, you know, get some cost sharing doing some group buys, and then be able to carry more and more of their lineup. Because don't get me wrong, I've got 2 tubes, 2 tube compacts, another tube compact on the way, 2 Pikas on the way, and there's a little something, we'll say, sitting right here that I'm not going to put on camera any closer, that that I got from Luke at FormNext, that's going to go into one of the printers behind me. But we spent the last couple of days working at the shop trying to strip the floors. We met with the contractor last night that was going to do the epoxy coating for us, and he was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Save yourself the labor. We'll be able to get this floor stripped with our 30-inch grinder in like 2 hours." And I'm like, "Okay, that's great, because my back is killing me, my hips killing me. You know, I'm feeling my age right now." So we're contracting out to them. They're going to be doing. They may be starting tomorrow. Like, they may be starting tomorrow. Going in and prepping the floor and getting the first coat of epoxy down, and then coming back the next day to check on the cure. And if it's cured enough, then they'll put the top coat on it. And by Monday, I should have a dramatic change in the way the shop looks. But we're full steam ahead right now. Like, I can't commit to opening before January. I think we're gonna soft open in January. The website is active, so give you an idea of what we're looking at. There's the website there. I think I already have it up. We just refresh it. Jump over here. This is actually a photo of downtown Sanford. I will update this to the store once we get some things in place. Once again, we're going to be focusing on 3D printers, filaments, resin supplies, prototyping, etc. The shop is up. We just don't have product on hand to start selling yet. So everything would be, nothing's available, but you can start seeing what we're looking at. We're going to have the FlashForge ADM5 Pro and the 85X. Parts and accessories for those will be coming in. I think he's made everything that I ordered available, but we have loaded all the stuff in the back end. So if there's something that we don't have, just let me know and we'll work on getting it in. In fact, I know I didn't order 8 or the 0.25 nozzles. I only ordered 4s and 6s. But yeah, we're starting to get stuff in place. As soon as we get the filament lineup information from EPAX and come to terms with EPAX, we'll start loading up all of their stuff. They are local here, so it'll be more of when can we drop it off at your building than anything else, because little interesting thing, their storefront is in Morrisville, North Carolina. Very, very, like 10-ish minute drive from Ecovate 3D. Their warehouse is here in Sanford. So they would be able to have stuff just drop shipped directly to my store, or I would be able to go over and get stuff directly from their warehouse location if need be. So, but yeah, we are really, really excited. We've got all the information from Fadis already loaded up into the back end of the tool we're using. We're using Odoo. So it's just a matter of me figuring out what we're going to put on order, and we'll get that stuff that we're ordering opened up. So then you can go visit and grab up the stuff. Exactly, Jedi Spidey. I will tell you this: as soon as we can, we will bring the website active. Well, it's active now, but I mean like purchasing on the website active, and you can come and pick up at the store. We just won't be fully open for walk-in business until we can get things set up. And Mrs. Dragon gives me the yes, we can unofficially soft open, right? But if you're in the local area, right, Spidey, um, you or your wife are more than welcome to come down anytime next week or after. I'm trying to tell people that in the local area, don't come until I get the floors done, right? I need to get the floors done and get that squared away, and then feel free to stop by and BS with us whenever you want. We still need to paint walls because it's yeah, we need to paint the walls. And is Miss Dragon going to operate the store? Mrs. Dragon will be there on the daily with me. We'll have to tag team in and out as we have meetings because once again, I am basically, we got internet set up on Tuesday, and I have been working my day job out of the store since then. You know, I still have the day job. I will be sitting in the office doing the day job. If you stop by, as long as I'm not sitting in an active meeting, I will come out and say hi and shoot the shit for a little bit. But I gotta keep the bills being paid, and that's one way to keep the bills being paid is by dual hatting. And yes, Mrs. Dragon will be down there in the store, and once we go live, and she will be running the store with me sitting in the office if anything comes up. So what are you doing again? Didn't catch your plans. So we're going to have a retail space, and the plan is we're going to be doing printer sales, custom printer builds. I will start carrying various parts. I just need to ramp up into the different parts. Like I want to carry LDO kits. I want to carry Big Tree Tech boards. I need some revenue stream coming in because right now a lot's going out. The store's not active. I don't have product in place, so nothing's coming back in. So as we start getting the revenue stream, I'll start bringing in other things. But we're going to have FlashForge, some of their printers and accessories for the FlashForge 85M Pro and 85X. We'll be getting in ePax filament. So ePax 3D filament, full lineup. We're going to get Batis, hot ends, nozzles, probably the Apis 2 extruder, probably some of their engineering filaments to round out what ePax, you know, because ePax has got the PLA, PETGs, and a lot of that. We're going to get a few other things. Your business are partnered. The business is owned by me and Mrs. Dragon. We are 50-50 partners in Digital Dragon 3D. We will have Evil Diesel there doing resin prints, as you know, resin design and prints. He's, I'll say, not on the payroll, and I'm sorry, I'm going to sit back down. He's not on the payroll because none of us are actually getting paid until we, excuse me, until we start getting some funding stream in. But he will be the first one officially brought on as an employee once we get there. But right now he will be doing resin prints for all of that stuff, and that's him. It's basically like, you know, he's got shop space to do that portion of stuff. And everything gets sold under the Digital Dragon 3D branding. Just, you know, designs by Evil Diesel type thing. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're all very, very excited. It keeps us engaged, keeps us busy, and I'll say keeps me out of trouble, but no, it doesn't. I stay in trouble all the time. Exactly. Exactly. It's going to take a while. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years, right? Most small businesses fail within the first 5 years. And some of that is either being way too niche or um, expanding too fast, right? So that's where I'm very, very leery of, is throwing lots of money out to get a bunch of product in and then not being able to sell it, right? So I don't want to start carrying everything that I want to carry. I need to grow this organically because it is coming out of my own funds. So we're going to grow it organically. Once we start making some sales, then we can start branching out and bringing more things in. I know Big Tree Tech boards and stuff will sell. I just need to start bringing, get the cash flow going, and then we can bring on like Big Tree Tech and LDO and stuff like that. I'm sorry, did I hear my name? Who is calling for trouble? No, Free Heathen, I get in enough trouble by myself. I get in enough trouble by myself. And like I said, I've got a 70-inch table. Like right now, this table that we've been doing all of our builds at, it's effectively 44 inches wide, or 44 inches long, and I've got 22 inches front to back. So the new table that I'll have, once again, it can roll, but it's 70 inches, so almost double the width or the length, and 24 inches deep. So we'll be able to have some bigger build space up there, because once again, my streaming setup, let me see, let's do this. Let's grab this over here. Yeah. This is kind of my streaming setup, right? I've got the 2 monitors with some LEDs on top of it, and it's on a stand, and it's a rolling display stand, and this is actually a keyboard tray that is a horizontal surface that collects crap. And then you've got the base, and then my CPU should be hanging on the back of the stand, but it's too big to fit because of the case that I have. So yeah. So I may put on the legs that come out to the front, I may actually put a board across it for the PC, but this makes up the stand that will sit in front of the workbench and give you the same view that you're seeing now. And we'll have the workbench cam off to the side, and so on and so forth. There we go. All right, we'll come back over here, and I'm going to sit back down. The things I have seen mostly is debt, overhead, or too limited of a market, high customer acquisition cost. Yeah, so I'm very cognizant about having too much inventory, right? A lot of times, and there's some people I know that have inventory that's not moving. And their comments are, well, I can't lose money on it. Well, guess what? You've already lost money on it because you've bought the product, right? As a reseller, you buy the product, or you go into terms on product, which means you're buying that product still. You still have to pay for that product. And then when you sell it, you get your sunk cost of the inventory back plus your margin, right? Some margins here, some margins there, some margins down here. It depends on the item and the product. But you've got money sunk into your inventory. That's the scary part. Services, once again, are easy because there's little to no inventory for service. It's you going out and doing things, or you doing things when people bring things to you. Service makes money almost hands down every day. But when you have inventory, you've got a sunk cost. So at some point, if something's not moving, you either need to find somebody else that can move it, that you're willing to sell to, or you fire sell it. And if you don't make any money on it, or even if you're quote unquote losing money on each item, guess what? You've actually gained back some of your principal investment in the product, and you freed up shelf space to sell other product, or stock and market other product. So that's one of those things that you got to be careful of, is getting a bunch of stuff in that you can't move. Then you need to just say, all right, we're going to throw a bunch of stuff on eBay and get it moved, right? Fire sell it on eBay, maybe lot sell it and get rid of it. But if you can't sell it, then it's bad, right? The one thing I do know of, like I said, is I know that there's 2 or 3 actual print farming people in my area that you know, if I can bring them on with service contracts, or at the very least be their consumable providers. Once again, filament, nozzles, filters, you know, it's worth doing it. And I can keep some cash flow coming in. So the plan is, if you've seen the pictures of the store, there is a big brick wall on one side of the store. And on the other side of that brick wall is an actual vault, right? So that's where we're going to put all of our back stock, because it's a vault. It's got a big thick door that we can close and secure things at night. But I plan on doing my streaming setup with that brick as the backdrop. And I will be doing some streaming from the store, and eventually, like Tuesday, Thursday night, we close the store, we start streaming. And I may slide back to 7 to do that. We've still got to figure out our store hours and stuff. I've got to work that out here very soon. We're talking about being closed on Mondays, or at least Monday would be appointment only type thing, and then the store's open Tuesday through Sunday. And Mondays will be the day that we start looking at doing classes down the road, right? So we'll have classes in there as well. So that's one of the things that we're looking at bringing in. We get caught up here. Wow. But yeah, there will be a content area there. What am I going to do with all the space at your house? Mrs. Dragon really wants the printers out of the living room and the dining room. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is move some of these printers out from back here down to the store. Some of the printers will, some of the printers will stay here. Not all of them are going to go down to the store, but there's going to be a good portion of them down at the store. Close to my home. It's about 15 minutes door to door. So yeah, it's literally about 15 minutes door to door, and that kind of depends, sorry, on when I leave. And I say that because either way I come to the store, I pass by a school. So, and it's elementary school. So it's one of those things of, if I leave at the wrong time, I get stuck in the line as people are dropping off in the morning. But yeah. We will most likely be opening, or at least I will be there at 8 in the morning. So if say we decide, okay, we're not opening until 10, but somebody needs to come by, Spidey, and pick up filament, and he's going to be there at 8, ring me up, let me know, and I'll make sure I'm there, right? That's not a problem, because I'll be there anyhow. That was the intent of the first thing I did. I got keys on Monday. Tuesday they put in internet, right? So I've been sitting down at the store every day. That is where I'm now working out of versus sitting here at this desk. And I'm eventually going to be moving a lot more of my setup there. I'm just waiting for the floors to get done before I start doing anything big. Yep, I will always make time for Spidey. I will be there in the morning. I will stay late if you need me to stay late, though I think the hours are probably going to be 9 to 6. I'm going to be there anyhow. The question is whether or not I flip all the lights on, right? Whether the door's unlocked for customer or not, I'll be there. So that's part of the nice thing about still doing the other job is I just drive from my house over there in the morning and I'm sitting there doing the same stuff. Like literally today I had gotten on a meeting and I looked up and a delivery truck showed up. And so we were on a few minutes early before the meeting, just kind of shooting the stuff. And I was like, hey, give me a second. I got a delivery truck that just showed up. And he's like, okay, no problem. Put him on mute, went out, took the delivery, got it put in the store, and then jumped back on the call. And by that time, the other person that we were meeting with showed up. So, yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. The only hard stop I have is on Friday nights going down and doing D&D. And we've actually had the idea of just not going to the Dame store for D&D and just having the group show up at the shop. But we'll see. Oh yeah, it'd be hard to help customers and be at work. That's why I've got Evil Diesel there and Mrs. Dragon. Mrs. Dragon has picked up an awful lot and she can sell filament. She can sell the heck out of filament, right? So she'll be good for things like that. She's picking up a lot with the printers as well. And like I said, if I need to, I can normally jump out. But I'm sure it'll be hard. And we'll work that. And we'll, when things need to, when push comes to shove, we make the hard decision when we need to make the hard decision. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for being here. We got the speaker done. Like I said, it's going to be a couple of days. I will need to get this down to the shop because, like I said, the other speakers and stuff are down at the shop, and we'll get this rocking over at the shop and do some videos of it to post up once we get the floors done so we can get out there and run everything. But Jen, are you getting ready to start up for the evening? Oh yeah, definitely built over bot. I fully understand it. It's going to be hard being there, doing one job, and then still trying to keep an eye on the store. The nice thing is my office, it has a one-way mirror section, so I can sit in my office, and the way I'm going to be setting up the office, I'm going to be able to look out and see when people come into the store. And the checkout area is going to be right there as well. So if Mrs. Dragon needs something, she'll be able to just come in and knock on the window and be like, hey, and I'll be able to say, okay, I can come or not pretty easily. So yeah, but I'm going into this with eyes wide open. It's not going to be easy. I know that. But we're going to figure out how to make it work, right? One way or the other, we're going to figure out how to make it work, because I'm looking at this store as being, I'll say, my retirement. And my retirement does not mean that I stop working, obviously. It's that I am now working doing the things that I love rather than the things that pay the bill, right? It'll still pay the bills, but yeah, it's going to be the thing that I love. So yeah, it's basically more about making the choice of what I spend my time doing versus chasing the paycheck, the corporate ladder, and all that good stuff. Should have put in a two-way mirror in my office versus the windows that were. I got lucky; it was already there. So, like I said, it's a 1948 building, and yeah, it was kind of nice that we found it, right? Kind of nice that we found it. We just kind of fell in love with it, and we like the character. We like the neighbors that we've met so far. We've had some curious lookers. I was sitting there the other day, and I'm like, why is this cop standing in my parking lot looking at the building? He was looking at the sign, and I'm just like, you know, because I know I don't have a permit for any sign. I just had my banner that was at 3D Printopia hanging in the windows. And I walked out and chatted with him, and he was just like, oh, no, he's retired from the force, and the city council asked him to stay on running the, I'll say kind of like the downtown beat, so to speak. So we actually have cops that routinely patrol the downtown area, both in cars and on foot. So he's like, don't be surprised that once you actually open the store, if you have a cop stop by and just open the door and check on you and say, hey, everything okay? And I'm like, that's going to be awesome. And I sat here and watched him, like, across the corner talking to the wedding dress shop owner for quite a while today. But folks, you see me getting kind of fidgety here. My hips really kind of hurting, and I need to go and do some stretching and stuff. Thank you all for being with me this evening. Let me figure out who we can raid into. I know Jano's going to start up here in a little bit. He's not up just yet. Or a sheriff helped me move in, but we only have 4 in the county. Yeah. Let me see who's online that we can jump over to. Yeah. Let's all right, yeah, they're still talking. So let's go and jump over to Polymaker. But thank you everybody for being here and hanging out with us. News the ad. We don't need an ad to get ready to start. We're gonna raid out. But thank you everybody for being here with me this evening. Thank you for all that you do and all the support that you guys have given me. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this venture and starting the store, is everybody's support and just the love of this community. I really do appreciate it. My code has ended, but definitely if you like the Deposition Sound build, go out to the Deposition Sound site and pick up a set of speakers. They've got the nice little duos that are starting to come out as well. So, you know, thank you all for being here. Like I said, I just love all the support that you guys give me, guys and gals. So thanks a lot. We're going to raid over to Polymaker. You guys have a great night, and I will see you guys again soon. Take care, all. Bye-bye. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, thank you for sticking around and listening to me ramble. You know, the speaker's up and running, but the store is going to continue to have stuff going on to it. So thank you very much for supporting me and sticking around. Please make sure you've hit that like button. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And, you know, click the bell to get notified of future videos. Speaking of future videos, YouTube's going to be suggesting a new one right here for you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye now.